If you chose deck number 1, the Muse Tarot, this is what's in the cards for you. What is it that you need to know? What is it that they need to know at this time? Okay, the first card opens up the reading. We have the Empress in the center. Beautiful. So the overall energy of this card can also represent you. We have the Empress in the center. So there's definitely some kind of an abundance, fertility. For some of you, it may be related to an actual, like pregnancy, but it can be given birth, bringing to life your ideas, creative projects. This is the card of the purest love also in the tarot cards. So there is a vibe of like sweet loving, okay? It can be, again, a love of a parent towards a child, or a creator towards the creation of whatever kind, because that's the key to the Empress, is that she loves her creations, right? And she nurtures them, then she gives birth to them, brings them to life, and still continues to nurture them until like their maturity point, okay? So the purest love, you are very inspired, driven by love, okay, and very fertile in those ideas, in resources of whatever kind. Four of inspiration, that is the Four of Wands, Eight of emotions, so Eight of Cups, Nine of voices, which is the Nine of Swords, and Eight of materials, which is the Eight of coins. So you have all four elements around the Empress. Four of inspiration, that is Wands, energy, fire element. Eight of Cups, which is water element, right? Nine of Swords, which is the air element, and Eight of coins, which is earth. And then we also have 8 and 8 here, 4 and 9, okay? So it makes me think of like those four elements that create the universe. It's like four ingredients of whatever is happening here. It will be different for everyone, but like you have all the resources that you need internally and externally to create, to give birth to that creation that you are thinking about, working on, desiring, okay? Fire element, the ones representing desires, passions, ambitions, what drives you, creativity, but also that inner fire, right? But it can also relate to spirituality. Then cups, so emotions, as I said, you are not only passionate about this project, let's call it, but you are also watering it with a lot of emotions, faith, hope, dreams. You visualize it, right? So you are emotionally engaged. With the swords energy, your mental space is involved as well, both that human, intellectual, okay, but also the higher consciousness, perhaps, okay? And with the Eight of Coins, the earth, so all the hands that are engaged in the work, like, or I should say, you are in the works, full hands, and you are manifesting things into the material plane, with the earth element representing our physical world, material, okay? So only by engaging all the previously explained elements, fire, water, and air, your passions, your emotions, and your intellect, only by combining all those elements, you can create whatever it is that you are working on. And you are in the manifestation, or getting close to the manifestation phase. And it feels really good, even though, you know, the Four of Inspiration, or the Four of Wands, you are laying solid grounds for your future. So whether it's actual like pregnancy, something that will impact your future long term, or a project, a business idea, a new job, a creative or artistic endeavor, you are laying solid grounds for your future with this, but also you are laying grounds for celebration with the Four of Wands. With the Eight of Cups, you are moving away from something that is no longer serving you and moving towards fulfillment, happiness, and creation, self-made happiness. You are birthing not only some kind of a project, but your fulfillment, your own happiness. You are bringing it to life. So you are leaving what is no longer serving you and moving from the Eight of Cups towards finding the Ninth Cup. Now with the Nine of Voices or Swords, even though it's typically a card of fear, anxiety, and overthinking, this card is very peaceful, and I feel that you are really mentally engaged into this. You really think about it a lot, but I don't feel anxiety or fear. I just think that you think about it a lot, that your intellect, but also that higher mind space is really, really involved in this, including the times when you sleep, because I don't get any vibe out of this card that you are losing sleep. On the contrary, I think you sleep very well, but you just dream intensively about this something, this project, okay? And with the Eight of Coins, as I said, hands full of work. You are really on the physical plane also engaged into this. So whether it's a job idea, a business idea, creative, you really put your hands into this. And that's an amazing reading. It's full of encouragement that you are really on the right path. You are feeling happy, you are feeling good, very motivated, determined. You have a clear vision, something that is guiding you, lightening up your path. There's really a lot of calmness in this reading. Like, as I said, I don't feel fear or anxiety. I think you are really focused, very attentive to what you do, but at the same time very calm and patient as well. Very strong too, like giving birth to, whether it's physical giving birth or if it's a project, something you work on, it is also physically demanding, let's call it, okay? Can be tiring. So you are really approaching it calmly, like you are managing your energetic resources well as well, I feel. Okay, so let's see what the oracle cards say for you. You have the Malachite card, which is about nature. This is card number 4 in this deck. And the Creative Intuition Oracle says, once you learn to fully live in the present, you will be able to see with new eyes. Okay, so what I'm getting from those two cards, first of all, the Malachite, the green card, I said it's about nature. It speaks of returning to source, or returning or tapping into your instincts with that motherhood or the creation instincts, okay? Coming back to your roots. It may be about continuing some kind of family traditions or some kind of heritage, okay? But it can also speak of healing through nature, perhaps natural medicine, being connected to nature. And you know, that is the vibe of the Empress. She's about that everything in nature, in the world, is connected one to another, and she's that fertile ground. So that makes perfect sense, right? Your creativity may be very positively stimulated by nature, for example, okay? But it also speaks of someone of like a shaman nature or explorer, researcher, okay? This may be related to that family tradition, perhaps. Now the oracle card, this one, it says, you know, rooting yourself in the present fully in this moment is important, right? Those mushrooms are not about encouraging anyone to shift their state of minds, okay, by any substances. It's just to highlight that there's truly a magical potential in the present moment, and that there's still much more than meets the eye, okay? We tend to think that in the future there's something better, there's something more, when we haven't fully explored the present yet. So there's still so much more to discover here where you are. That's what those two cards say, okay? And I really feel it's blending in a beautiful way with the Empress card, because she's so patient and she is really focused on the present moment, because she knows that in this present moment that creation process takes place, right? And she's focused, but she's allowing those life forces to flow freely. She's not controlling, she's in the present moment, trusting that she is exactly where she is meant to be at this time. And again, that connection to nature. You may want to check out the properties of the malachite stone. Okay, they may be of some kind of support or just aesthetically pleasing to you at this time. Number 4 in this deck represents matter, earth, fertile ground. So again, that Empress vibe. It relates to Scorpio and Taurus. So you may be one of those signs or person you're dealing with, can be. And last but not least, the green color of this card makes me think of the heart chakra. So emotions, love, self-love. This is the card of the purest love in the deck, right? That's what I said at the beginning. So so that green chakra, you may want to explore perhaps heart chakra meditations. Okay, I hope that this message was insightful for you and that you enjoyed. I will now move to deck number 2. If you chose deck number 2, this is the 8 Coins Tattoo Tarot. This is what's in the cards for you. What is it that you need to know? What is it that they need to know at this time? Okay, that was quick. First 2 cards open up the reading. I'm putting them in the center. They represent the overall energy of your situation. They can also represent you. So in the center we have the 3 of Wands and the 6 of Coins. And I really do think that there's some kind of project you have been working on for quite some time, something you have invested in, and it doesn't have to be a monetary investment. It can be any resource that you have put into a project. Could have been your time, your energy, your ideas, your attention, right? Whatever it is, including money, obviously, you invested, and now the time of harvest is coming to you, because now you will receive according to what you invested. Time of the results is coming, and you already see them on the horizon. With the 3 of Wands, you can already like sense, or you can see some kind of maybe financial forecast, right? But you see those rays of the rising sun, and you know that the results are coming. You can already see the ships coming towards you, right? So the diligent effort that you put, the investment that you made is going to be paying off now. And it's also, thanks to this, you are being far-sighted. So in the 3 of Wands, you're looking at that distant horizon. It's some kind of a new opening that you embark on a journey of growth through adventure. Okay, that's what I always feel with the 3 of Wands. There's enthusiasm, there's passion, there's curiosity, there's willingness to get to that distant place in the horizon. Okay, so it's a time of a new opening for you that is kind of material or based in your physical world. It can be a new job. It feels a little less with a relationship, a romantic one, but it can be. But it does feel like really related to some kind of material investment. Okay, it may be the time that you spend on your hobbies or creative projects that will be paying off now. Okay, so what we have, the Star, beautiful, 8 of Cups, the Tower, and the Hangman. You have 3 major arcanas. So, and you are definitely moving forward. There is definitely a new beginning, a new opening for you with the 8 of Cups card. You are moving away from something that is no longer serving you in whatever meaning. Like, it's not serving you because, for example, all the experiences that were available to you in that previous place, you've already accomplished all of them, went through all the lessons that were available in this life phase for you. It's time to move forward. So that's why it's growth through adventure, because there's unknown, but you're ready. You have outgrown your current form. It's time to move forward. And I also like the way those 2 cards are similar to one another. She's looking into the star, he's looking into the sky, into the moon, but also behind, not also. The word I wanted to use was always. Always behind the moon there's the sun. So even though those two cards are in the nighttime, in the darkness, it's not completely dark. There's always a guiding light, right? Something that is lightening up the path. And that's why, and even in this card on the horizon, there's the sun rising. So you're, even though there is unknown, you are enthusiastic about this new adventure because something is lightening up your path. It can be your determination, a dream, like a goal that you have. It can be your intuition is your guiding light as well. So with the star and with the moon, you know that you can, or as long as you listen to your intuitive whispers and guidance and inner knowing, you will be good. Okay, so there's trust and hope with the star card, but this is also, as I said, wishing upon the star. You have some kind of a dream. This distant horizon, place on the distant horizon is like a dream for you. You want to be there. You're already 1 foot there somehow with those ships coming in. So there's a lot of faith, hope, love, and also peace and patience with the star card, which I really like. There's no fear, even though the journey is towards some kind of unknown. So in the darkness, but also darkness representing an inner journey. You know, there's inner growth for you as well. You're not afraid. And that's good because we have the Tower around the situation as well, which, well, in this case signifies changes, very significant changes, but changes for the better. There's nothing to be afraid of in the Tower card if we don't resist the change. I said you have outgrown your current form. You need to move forward, right? So those old forms are collapsing. That's the Tower. You have outgrown your current form. It's time for you to grow, so you need liberation. The old forms must burn down, so the true you, the new you, can be revealed, can come to the surface. The Tower is standing on a solid ground, on a rock solid ground, so there's nothing to be afraid of, and hence I feel that most of you know this. For those of you who have any doubts, then this is just a confirmation that you really are standing on a solid ground. So, but you need to let go, free yourself from those old forms. So the Tower needs to go down, and the new you is coming up to the surface with the Hangman, right? This is flipping over your values, changing perspective, seeing things from a higher perspective, and different than you used to see things until now. And what I like is the combination of those two cards, because in the Three of Wands, this person is also looking into the horizon from some kind of a hill or a mountain. They are looking from above, right? And similarly, the Hangman is looking from above, so his horizons are widening. He sees more than if he was standing down there. He can see further into the horizon, right? So with the Hangman, it symbolizes that not only in the physical world and in the sphere of your desires and ambitions, but also in the sphere of your mind space and your spiritual space, or that instinct space, okay? There's also growth, also coming to some kind of enlightenment, realization, and horizons widening, okay? And again, there's peace, patience, meditation in the Hangman. That's why I really feel that most of you are really peaceful about this change. You're enthusiastic about it and very patient. Let's see what the Oracle cards have to say. We have from the Crystal Oracle, the card of responsibility, Chrysocolla. I'm not sure if I'm saying the name of that stone correctly. And this is card number 5. So 5 typically is a number of change, right? But in this particular deck, it represents perfection and a human being, okay? Now, Your creative intuition oracle says your wisdom protects you from breakdown and leads you to breakthrough. Isn't that the Tower card? Your wisdom protects you from breakdown and leads you to breakthrough. So it symbolizes strength. It speaks of great strength, like you being the elephant. I really like this. And combined with the responsibility card. So let's review those together. The responsibility card speaks of care for the planet. It can speak of some kind of like environmental care, but also deep empathy in general. Care for your close ones. So it does make me think of the elephant because they care for their families, right? The responsibility card also brings peace. May indicate some kind of teamwork or group work, cooperation of any kind for like a common benefit or well-being. The oracle, creative intuition oracle, speaks of strength, wisdom as your main source of protection. Wisdom as your main source of protection, inner wisdom, this guiding light that you are following, that makes you maintain, retain your faith, your hope, your belief in the solid ground, that helps you go through that process undisturbed. That is what this is talking about. Wisdom as your main source of protection. And you have also two powerful animal totems here. You have the elephant, that speaks deep sense of family, sensitivity to others, but also deep grounding. It tells you to trust your natural intelligence. That's exactly what was here, following your inner knowing. Wisdom as that source of protection. You deserve to flourish on a grand scale. Okay, so that is beautiful. Now dolphins that are in this card speak of unconditional love for all beings, so that empathy that we have earlier, right? A blend of intelligence and compassion, honesty. They say it's time to embrace the real you. The real you come to the surface. And start communicating your desires and your feelings. Okay. Now, you may want to check out the properties of this stone. I'll repeat the name of the stone in the description box below. It may carry some additional message for you, or it may just be aesthetically pleasing to you at this time. It speaks of or is associated with Libra, Sagittarius, Aqua. You may be dealing with one of those signs, or you may be one of those signs. And the blue color in this card makes me think of the throat chakra, so communication, right? And the dolphin said it's time to start communicating your desires and feelings. So there is a message for someone in those aspects of the cards as well. And I hope that this reading was insightful, and I hope that you enjoyed. I will now move to deck number 3. If you chose deck number 3, this is the Tarot of the Golden Wheel, and this is what's in the cards for you. What is it that you need to know? What is it that they need to know at this time? Okay, first card opens up the reading, and it represents you or the overall energy of the situation. Let's put a couple cards around it, and let's get into your reading. So what do we have in the center? We have the Three of Wands. Beautiful. So I do feel that for most of you it does represent you as a person. As the energy, it's the energy of growth through adventure, being far-sighted, looking into the distance, almost looking into your future. And that's how I see you. It's a very positive card, a card of being enthusiastic, a card of already seeing the first results of the decisions that you made in the past. Could have been recent past, could have been a little more distant past, but you start to see the results of those choices. In the Two of Wands, previously you have chosen the direction for your life. For some it could have been more short-term, for others long-term direction, a new job, a new relationship. You have decided where do you want to put your energy into, where do you want to invest yourself, your time, your resources of whatever kind. Creativity, spirituality as well, okay? So you have made a choice in any of those areas of life, and now you start seeing the first results and you like them. and you want to continue on this path. So you are being farsighted, looking kind of into the future, seeing those first results, and already starting to make plans for the future. What will you do with those results that are coming? How will you invest your resources and yourself further? Okay, but I really do feel that you feel good, you're motivated, determined, energized. With this young man in this card, I feel that you may be feeling young-hearted, regardless of age. Okay, so it makes you feel good, successful, perhaps something you have been waiting for a long time. And the sun that is right in the center, probably it's the sunny vibe of this card that primarily makes me feel so good, right? Because that's the positive stimulation. But also the sun card in the tarot says, open up your hands to receive all the good things. And that's exactly what you're doing. You are reaching out for all the good things that life is offering in whatever area of life that is in your focus right now. So I really like this for you. The Hierophant, beautiful. Page of Swords, young-hearted energy. Knight of Wheels and Eight of Wands. So we have one major arcana for you, the Hierophant, number 5, which is a number of change. But the Hierophant is someone who is committed to continuous, never-ending self-development, right? Whether it's education-wise or just in general growth in life, expansion, can be spiritual with the Hierophant vibe, connection to those higher realms. The Hierophant often makes me think of a scientist as well, someone who metaphorically has that access to a secret wisdom that most of us are not able to comprehend, right? So primarily I feel the vibe of growth for you, like especially now that you started to see those first results, it made you extremely motivated and enthusiastic about it. And it's almost as if you're making the time now to dedicate yourself to this process and commit yourself to becoming better and better in whatever area of life. It's like you made that choice with the Two of Wands previously. You made that choice. Perhaps it was a little more short term in your mind. You were like just checking in if that's something for you. And now it's almost like the decision time that you, yes, this is what I want to pursue. That's what I think with the Hierophant, okay? And there's definitely growth on spiritual level for a lot, because not only because of the Hierophant, but we have the fire energy with the Three of Wands and the Eight of Wands. And fire also represents spirituality. Now with the Page of Swords, that is, and very symbolically that this card is above, the card that represents you, because the Page of Swords speaks of very curious, inquisitive mind. It also represents a younger person, or that young-hearted energy, refreshing energy. It's like you are rejuvenated and your mind is very inquisitive. You want to know more. You want to explore whatever this is that you are seeing on the horizon. It's interesting for your mind, okay? And again, it can be your logical, intellectual mind, and it can be that higher mind, okay? But whatever that is, your curiosity and desire to explore what's out there has grown and is driving you. Like it's really in your mind, with this card being above you, okay? With the Knight of Wheels, so that's the Knight of Coins, the slowest moving knight in the tarot deck. That just highlights what I said earlier. It's in the same line as that commitment to, yes, this is what I want to pursue. I commit myself to exploring it and growing, self-develop myself in this direction. So the Knight of Coins is just representative of you really being determined to move into that direction with diligence, not looking for shortcuts. They are even in similar scenery, right? Both of them. So you are really like committing yourself to pursuing this with diligence, not looking for shortcuts, with focus on the destination or the goal, and really committed to the journey, right? A journey of growth, again, growth through adventure. Knight always represents bravery, expansion, growth. So I really like this for you because it's very profound on whatever area with the wheels or the coins energy. It can be your career growth, right? Including financial with the coins vibe, but it's really profound, and especially if it's spiritual and that higher mind related, that makes me really happy for you. Last but not least, with the Eight of Wands, things are gaining momentum. That's just to sum up what was said earlier. So this transformation time, growth time for you is just really starting, initiating, and things are gaining momentum from now on. With the Eight of Wands, things are happening fast and there are no obstacles on their way, right? So Eight of Wands can also represent quite intense and undisturbed communication with someone. May make sense with the Page of Swords. You may be communicating, there may be some kind of a message. It may also be communicating again with that spiritual realm, right? Intensive downloads, intuitive downloads, but definitely things are gaining momentum for you. There are no obstacles on the way. You are entering a time of growth. It's meant for you, but you are also entering it consciously by committing to it. So I really like this for you. Let's see what the oracle cards have for you. We have the onyx stone for you. It's speaking of periodicity, cycles. And your oracle card says, you have the elephant. And it says, you can achieve material success without disturbing the sanctity of your soul. Isn't that exactly the combination of what I said? There's a lot of spirituality in this reading and a lot of growth on the material plane, including financial. You can achieve material success without disturbing the sanctity of your soul. You can combine your spirituality and your earthly needs and fulfill them at the same time. I really like this. Now this card that speaks of cycles, it speaks of natural processes, something that is meant to be and happens naturally, and this growth really feels very natural for you. I said something that was meant for you. Eternity, memories, planting seeds for the future, including your future but also future generations, planting the seed with the Knight of Wands, long-lasting results, renewable crops, being far-sighted into the future, and fertile time, being far-sighted into the future. I mean, I cannot make this up. Now, the creative intuition oracle with the elephant, you can grow abundant crop, and they are both sitting in the field of, what is the name for this in English? I don't remember, but it's about to give crop, right? You can grow abundant crop while still following your ethical standards, but also your, or working in alignment with your soul's and heart's values, with your spirit, spiritual path. The elephant, well, it's about being connected to the energy center of the heart, really. And that seedling is green, and it made me think of the heart chakra color, which is green as well. And it says, you know, plant your seeds following your heart's desires. Plant them from the place of your heart. Water them with love. Okay, that's how you ensure that the sanctity of your soul remains undisturbed. When you follow the promptings of your heart, you can be sure that you will maintain balance between, you know, the earthly and spiritual, if you will. Now with the onyx card, it's number 6. In this deck it represents balance, intuition. You may want to check out the properties of the onyx stone. It may have some additional messages for you, or it may just be aesthetically pleasing for you at this time. Now it's related to the Capricorn sign, so you may be Capricorn, you may be dealing with a Capricorn, okay? With that seedling, I said previously the heart chakra, so green color, but also the seedling made me think of the root chakra, so being grounded and centered. Okay, beautiful reading. I hope that you enjoyed. I really hope that you enjoyed this reading and that you are in that growth and you're enjoying it, because it really does feel good. Please take care of yourself. If you chose deck number 4, this is the Star Tarot. And this is what's in the cards for you. Okay, those cards just want to speak up. And I think I will allow them. This means this spread will be a little different than for the previous decks, but I just cannot ignore those cards. We have 5 of Wands, 2 of Coins, 8 of Cups, 8 of Wands, a Hierophant, 6 of Swords, the Moon, and King of Swords. And 2 major arcanas out of those 8 cards. But I already see the message. It's amazing. I was not prepared to do this reading this way. I was planning to do it as for the previous decks with the same spread, but the cards just aligned perfectly into a clear message. 5 of Wands and the Hierophant, which is number 5. So the cards are aligned like this. It's like they add up to one another, creating a full storyline for you. The 5 of Wands and the Hierophant, both number 5. There's a change happening for you. And for most of you, even though it will be different for everyone, obviously, and it can always relate to any area of your life, for most of you, it does feel very spiritual. It's a growth on a soul level, an up-leveling of the soul. Okay, with the 5 of Wands representing that situation in which we want to give the best of ourselves into the process. It's some kind of like, for some it may be like a contest or a job interview. In this case, I feel that you are really giving the best of you to tap into that or connect with some kind of spiritual or higher knowing. For some of you, this higher knowing may be higher education. It may be about studying, exploring something, but primarily I feel most of you are exploring the spiritual in whatever way works for you. It doesn't matter. It can be deep meditation, it can be prayer, you may be reading tarot cards, whatever you're working with, perhaps stones, okay? But definitely deep meditative state and deep work being put, but also passion, desire to connect with that higher knowing. And you're slowly growing into that connection. You're not fully in the Hierophant, perhaps, energy, but you are really passionately tapping into it. Passionately, but also with deep peace and calmness, right? This person is absolutely not disturbed in any way. Even though their passion is almost like a volcano, they are absolutely immersed in the peace, in the deep meditation. Similarly, the Hierophant, right? He's in absolute peace. He's tapping into that energy by putting his finger here. And symbolically, this shape that he's putting the finger on is shaped with the heart. So it's like you're tapping really into your heart's desires, or you're driven by your heart's desires. Your passion emerged from your heart. So you're not, perhaps previously you have been more driven by your logical, intellectual mind, and that's where the change number 5 is coming. You are growing to open your mind into that higher, with all the stars, right? That's what the Hierophant is connected to. Now, with the 2 of Pentacles and the 6 of Swords, you know, you are really, as I said, peace, right? Really peaceful and in deep meditative state as you go through this. With the 2 of Pentacles, you are remaining balanced, primarily balanced between your mind and your heart. And both of those cards speak of it. With the 2 of Pentacles, I often say that this is the balance between mind and heart that ensures that the decisions that we made, including decisions that impact our physical material world, are made rationally, right? That they are not based on temporary emotions such as fear or some kind of maybe anger, but that they are balanced. And similarly, the 6 of Swords, even though it's the Swords energy, so the mind space, it's about moving to the calmer waters, and water represents emotions. So again, balance between the mind and the heart. That's why I said previously you may have been more intellect driven. Now you are moving to, your heart is like taking over you. Perhaps it's not something you cannot, or I should say not something you can control, but you are doing your best to remain balanced between the mind and the heart, and it actually works, and it works for you. You are moving to those calmer waters, so it works to your benefit. You are calming yourself down. You are leaving any kind of conflicts, mental challenges behind. You are leaving the Five of Swords behind. You are moving peacefully. Look at this person in the boat, moving peacefully, and it's some kind of an inner journey. Again, that spiritual vibe is highlighted because it's taking place at night. So inner journey, facing your deepest emotions and also deepest fears with the moon, but doing it peacefully. There's no fear. You know that you are moving towards the sun, and I really like this for you. And there's a lot of movement again with the Eight of Cups. That is moving away from what is no longer serving you and moving towards happiness, fulfillment, moving or embarking on a journey to find the Ninth Cup, to find fulfillment. All the lessons you were meant to go through in your current phase of life, you've gone through them. It's time for your expansion with the Hierophant. That growth, as I said, can be education, but this is someone who's committed to constant self-development, to growth. And with the Eight of Cups, you are moving away from is no longer serving you. You have outgrown your previous forms, whether in your mind space or spiritually or both. And it's time for you to move towards more fulfillment, happiness, and growth. That's the Eight of Cups. Now with the Moon, again, Six of Swords, Eight of Cups, the Moon. These are the cards of a journey that takes place at night. Very strongly highlights that this is your inner journey. That's why it feels very spiritual. But it also signifies that it's some kind of a journey towards unknown. But again, I feel no fear. You are facing your emotions, your deepest fears, bravely with the King of Swords. And actually this path is very healing for you. The path of the shadow that you are embarking on, you are taking it calmly, approaching it calmly, and it results in deep healing for you. And again, with the moon, that's deep spirituality too, tapping into your intuitive knowing with the moon. So makes me think of the High Priestess. And High Priestess, similarly, like the Hierophant, is the one who connects to those secret realms of higher knowing, right? It's a really spiritual journey for you, but it definitely also manifests in your physical world and impacts your physical spheres of life. You may be growing through spiritual growth, your mind space is growing. That definitely will impact, for example, your career or creative projects, your communication skills, okay? With the Eight of Wands, that signifies, primarily this is a card of energy gaining momentum. But your journey so far is very peaceful and rather slowly progressing, right? And there's no need to rush it, absolutely. With the Eight of Wands, for you, I primarily think it's about very intensive and undisturbed communication. And it can be communication with someone, but again, I will come back to that spiritual side of that message. And I feel it's a very intense communication between you and that higher realm, whatever you believe in, your intuition, your highest self, the universe, God, however you want to call it. You are really communicating with this realm very intensively, and it's communicating back, and it's sending you downloads. And look what is being downloaded and charged, energized, your heart. So I said that you are moving more from that intellect towards the heart, or heart's desires, or to pursuing your heart's desires, but while remaining balanced with your mind as well, logical and rational. And that's where the King of Swords comes into play. He's the master of the logical, rational, brilliant mind space. He's enlightened but he's also very rational and grounded in that rationality, I should say, right? Driven by his brilliant intellect. And it also, he's the great communicator too. Like, to the point. His key values are truth and clarity. You are gaining the ultimate truth and clarity. That's how you become the master of your mind space, and that's how you are able to perfectly maintain balance between your mind and your heart. Because you can follow your heart's desires and at the same time remain in full control of your mind space, so it's not creating fears, bad scenarios, it's not creating lack of self-belief, low self-esteem. No, you control the mind space. You know that you are not your thoughts. If your thoughts are creating doubts, you know that you control them. So again, we have two cards symbolizing the beautiful balance between your heart's desires and your mind space. You are mastering your mind space, and I really like this. You are coming to authority within your mind space, both that logical, rational, and the higher. Beautiful growth. Let's see what the oracle cards have to say. Set clear and concise goals and intentions, then release expectations. Go. Open your mind to co-create with the universe and weave a magical creation. Open your mind to co-create with the universe and weave a magical creation. That's exactly what is happening. Your mind is opening up. And now with the crystal oracle, first of all, it's number 1. It symbolizes a new opening, right? The stone is a ruby, so, and the property is love. So that's a new opening, like the Ace of Cups in the tarot deck, an endless and limitless fountain of happiness, fulfillment, good luck, joy, pleasure, all the good things that you can think about, healing, but also an overflow, a creative overflow, okay? So ideas, tapping into that limitless fountain of those ideas, but also very deeply healing and spiritual with all the water, okay? The purest vibration of love is coming out of this cup, and that's what I think about all that heart space taking leadership, those downloads that you get to your heart space. It results in that overflow. There's so much download into your heart space that it's just overflowing. It gives me a miracle vibe, okay? A beautiful emotional opening. This card is related to Leo, Aries, and Scorpio. You may be one of those signs, or you may be dealing with someone of that sign. All the red color of this card makes me think of the sacral chakra. So again, sensuality, creativity, but also your passions. Your heart is taking leadership. And you tapping into your heart result in endless. This is the cup that you are pursuing when you move in the Eight of Cups energy to find the ninth cup. That's exactly what's ahead of you. If you only remain on this path and really make sure that you keep that balance between your mind space and your heart space, this is where you're coming to a miraculous new opening, an absolute fulfillment. And I am wishing this to you from my heart. I hope that you enjoyed this message. Please take care of yourself, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.